Ground. I'm Hot Divided. He is Michigan Metal. We are back to talk more Buckeyes, more Wolverines, and just college football in general. Michigan controls their own destiny as they head into rivalry weekend with Michigan State. Big one on the road for the Wolverines. Ohio State continues to roll, sitting at 7-0, number one in the country. Still has some things that they need to improve upon. We'll get into it as we get in later in the show. Metal, welcome back. Both of us are done moving, it sounds like.
Yeah, man. It's glad to be back. Finally glad to be in like rotation of things. Have everything laid out. Finding all the new kinks and fuckeries of this new house. So I'm glad to be at a standstill, and hopefully I'll never have to move again.
It's one of those things you don't really believe it until you actually have a house. I know I would always hear like my parents or like parents' friends, older people that had homes that were like, when you have a house, like there's always something. There's just always something you need to fix, something you need to do. And I sold my last house and I was like, I 100% feel that. So right now I have my sensor for my door on my washer that is, for whatever reason, not working in this new house I just moved into a week ago.
Yeah.
And I can't wash clothes right now until I get that fucking sensor replaced. So that's what my evening looks like, dealing with that.
Just going back to the 1900s, just basically washing a basket and hanging on a clothesline.
I might have to just throw some Tide into the tub, put some water in there, scrub my clothes, and then, go hang it on the line. I'm hoping we can get it fixed tonight.
That's living life.
My laundry basket's getting very full.
Wear the same underwear over and over again. It's got to last 3 days now.
Dude, it's getting thin. I've only got a couple more pairs left. We got to get this figured out tonight,
no.
or we're gonna be having a problem when we get to the weekend.
Dude, I didn't realize when I bought this place that there were 0 smoke detectors, and I'm like, how the fuck did this place pass inspection? There were 0 smoke detectors, and my dad called it out. He was like, there isn't any smoke detectors in this house. I'm like, wait a minute. And I'm looking around. I'm like, oh my God, there's none. I'm like, dude, that's not good. I have a fucking kid and a dog, especially if there's carbon monoxide, leak or anything like that. My dog is fucking dead.
That's just one of those things that a dad would notice. They're looking for the small things like that.
Dude, we were. So what's really funny? So my house is close to the airport, literally about a half a mile from Chicago O'Hare, right?
Oh, damn.
And dude, so someone the flight patterns, I swear to God, the planes are about maybe 250 feet away from my house.
You probably just wake up early as shit in the mornings or late at night just hearing planes just sound like they're about to just crash right into your 911 the fuck out of your house.
Well, dude, the whole house is soundproof because the O'Hare Airport basically paid for all the windows for every single house in the area.
So you can't even hear them?
No, the bigger ones, yeah, but not the small ones. No,
really.
No, maybe the 787s, but the obviously the bigger ones, I can hear them a little bit. But everything is kind of soundproof. The garage has insulation and rubber matting that I can barely hear the fucking planes. And I decked out I got my garage set up with all my Michigan shit and all my other sports memorabilia because I'm fuck it, I'm gonna do a man cave in the garage. But so after Michigan got butt fucked by USC, I have obviously paraphernalia and stuff. So I had some pre-roll joints and I was sitting there smoking it with my dad and my stepmom. And so the planes are at the pattern, dude. They're at the pattern we can see them coming. And then my dad's like, "Oh shit, there's one coming right at us." And I'm like, "Whoa." I got to go grab my kid. And I'm sitting there laughing and I look to the right. I'm like, "Oh fuck, it's a street light." It wasn't a plane at all. And the planes were coming in a different direction. And I was like, "Dude, I was like, holy fuck, I'm lost." It was so fucking funny though. I don't know if you've ever partaked in recreational marijuana here in the state of Illinois, but yeah, it was a good time. It was really fucking funny.
Sounds like you were on
But
the
yeah,
good shit. If you're getting a traffic light mixed up with a fucking plane.
well, like it was like masked by like tree branches, and like you can see like the running lights of planes. Like you'll see like the port and starboard running lights, and then you'll see like the not really a mast light, but like one of the front lights. Um, and I thought it was that, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, oh shit, this shit's coming right at us. Like we're all gonna die.
That's hilarious.
But real,
That's some
but
good
real
shit.
talk, like I told my wife, I was like, if something actually does fall off a plane, like we're probably fucking dead. Like it's gonna be some of the Final Destination shit.
Like like a wheel or some shit just comes flying off of one of those things. I've seen those just like on the runway. Wheel just goes flying down the runway. Like I don't know if that'd be enough to fuck something up, but I mean if you had something fall off of that plane and land on your house, yeah, that's gonna mess some shit up.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's fucking nuts, man. But yeah, man, it's been way too long since we've done a show together. By the way, like way too long. But
Yeah, it has.
hopefully, since like we're both situated, we can get this weekly thing going for the kind of like the Ohio State and Michigan shows and talk about whatever bullshit that's happening in college football.
It's just wild because I would say the past like 6 to 8 weeks, we both were moving at the same time. We both were getting a new house, dealing with all that. So like Metal and I have been weirdly living the same life. Like it's like, oh yeah, I got my inspector coming today. And then it's like, oh no shit, mine's coming today too. It's just been very, very, very weird where we've had a lot of shit going on. So we're both settled into our new homes. I think Metal's a little bit further than I am. I'm only like a week into my house, but here moving forward, our plan is to start to get together once a week again and continue to have the Ohio show. I don't know if Metal is going to have plans to do a Michigan show. We've talked about that as well, doing that himself, maybe himself with somebody else. But yeah, we're going to try to get back to doing our OG show with us two, kind of talking about landscape of college football. Ohio State, Michigan. We got that game coming up here in about 5 weeks, right around the corner. And as we all know, it's probably going to mean a lot for both teams. And we'll get into it the further we get into the show. So,
would you say this year is probably more meaningful than last year? Like just the build up?
Yeah, because Michigan wasn't playing for anything last year. Ohio State really wasn't playing for anything other than like we beat you type of like bragging rights essentially. So Michigan is going to be playing for a playoff spot as long as they don't stumble down the road at some point. And Ohio State's going to be playing for we've lost 4 in a row and we ain't going to make it 5. So it's going to, I would say, people always say like the 12-team playoff kind of takes some importance away from the game, and I completely disagree as we get into it for this year. Like I think it's going to matter. It's Michigan season's on the line. And then Ohio State, it's like you don't want to make it 5 in a row. So it's going to be very, very, very high expectations for both sides, I think.
It's crazy. Like I think the possibility of like maybe Michigan and Ohio State, like if Indiana loses a game, like Michigan and Ohio State could like play back to back, like in the Big Ten championship or in the game and the Big Ten championship.
Yeah,
like there's a possibility of that happening.
Wouldn't Oregon probably get in though? Wouldn't they slide into that spot? Like you'd probably need a couple other things to happen, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I think Oregon would probably have to lose another game, and then I don't know about Indiana. Indiana would have to.
I mean, I don't think Indiana's going to lose. I think Indiana's
no
legit. Like we make fun of Curt Cignetti and all this, like the dumb shit that he's done, but they are for real. For real. And, I mean, if you look at their last few games, like UCLA at home, at Maryland, at Penn State, Wisconsin, and then Purdue, I would say, like, this weekend or maybe at Maryland next week are probably their 2 biggest threats at maybe dropping one. And UCLA, they played a lot better, started off 0-4, won their last 3, knocked off Penn State. Nico Iamaleava looks like he's starting to play a lot better ball. They're an interesting team. Like if you don't play well and you come out and turn the ball over, some weird shit could happen there. But I mean, Maryland, they're all right. Penn State. We know what they're like. Wisconsin sucks, and then Purdue sucks. So I don't think that Indiana's going to drop one. But I think if that were for Ohio State and Michigan to set up to play in the Big Ten championship game, I think you would need, for one, Indiana to lose, and then probably Oregon to drop another one at some point.
Yeah, I think the odds of that happening like maybe are like within like 10-15% of like Ohio State and Michigan playing each other. And I agree with you. Like Indiana looks so good. Like Mendoza is just, that guy is a Heisman candidate and possible Heisman finalist
Right.
this year. And I'm jealous that Cincinnati just signed like what was an 8-year or 10 years or 8-year extension for what, $64 million?
I think it was
Something like
8
that.
years, 11.6, but that was added on to what he got last year to basically make him the third highest paid coach in college football. Where it's like, if somebody's going to come get him, you got, for one, it's going to be hard to get him because we just made him the third highest paid coach in college football. And it's also like the buyout probably went up too. I don't know what the exact number of the buyout was, but I don't think he's going anywhere. I personally think Curt Cignetti is completely content with Indiana. He's showing everybody that he can win. He went out to Oregon, to Autzen Stadium, one of the hardest places to play in college football. Got to win out there. I think he truly believes that he can get it done in Indiana, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but I agree with him.
Yeah. Not even like they just won out there. They fucking dominated Oregon.
Dude,
But Indiana
is the truth. They are not
Yep.
the Indiana of old. Last year, they were still a little bit of like, you have some Indiana in you, and you are benefiting from playing a really, really bad schedule. Now, yes, they have like a 3 to 4 year stretch here where they're playing a lot of mid-major schools their first 3 games of the year. They're not playing Oklahoma. They're not playing Texas. They're not playing Georgia. They're not playing some of these other high-level Power 4 schools that are out there. They're playing a lot of low-tier schools. But if you're Indiana, that's how you become good. That's how you get to the top. You get those wins early, and they're as well coached as any team in the country.
Yeah. I love the fire in Curt Cignetti. Like him on the sideline, like just the pure emotion. Like I'm sure like he motivates his players like well. Like he's an outstanding coach. I don't care what anyone says. Like he's fucking awesome, and I wish Michigan had him.
Yeah, dude, like you can't really argue it. I mean, I'm completely good with Ryan Day. I love Ryan Day, clearly. But if like it wasn't Ryan Day, he would be one of my first few choices of who I'd want to replace Ryan Day. He's legit. Like he stands on the shit he says. I think he's been a little bit more quiet this year because he actually knows that like Indiana is getting put in the spotlight. People are finally talking about him. Where last year he had to go out and make some of those insane statements that we don't just kick the shit out of top 25 teams, yada, yada, whatever, and all that stuff he said. I think he had to do a little bit of that just to put the name, the brand out there in the spotlight so people would talk about Indiana. And then when they go and win some games, you just talk about him even more.
I want to see like because Indiana still has to play Penn State, and I know Penn State is kind of like broken, beaten, starved right now. But I still think that like that's gonna be a trap game for them come November 8th.
I'm worried about Penn
happen
State.
on that.
I'm worried about Penn State from Ohio State's perspective. Like that's still a roster that went to the national championship a year ago. I get they don't have Drew Aller. I get they don't have Tyler Warren. I get they don't have Abdul Carter. But like there was a lot of other pieces that are on that roster that came back, and their season is completely over with. And from Ohio State's perspective, Ohio State's the number 1 team in the country. They're going to be number 1 when they play them because Ohio State has a bye week this week. There's not a chance of Ohio State losing. So they will be playing the number 1 team unless Indiana just impresses that much where they jump them. But Ohio State immediately turns into Penn State's Super Bowl. They are going to be gunning for that game. If they're going to have one thing come out, all of these guys came back for a common goal of winning a national championship, and they're not going to do it. So at this point, they're looking for, so what's the next best thing that we can do? Let's go beat the number 1 team in the country. Ohio State better look out. They better be ready to go. That's still a talented crew that's coming into Columbus next weekend, and that turns into their goal of the season. That is their Super Bowl. That is their season next Saturday.
Yep. What's the best way to ruin a season is just by beating you guys, but it doesn't ruin it. It just it puts a thorn in your guys' side. and
For
just,
sure.
makes the stakes even higher.
For sure. So how about the rest of the landscape of college football? We saw number 2 Miami get beat by Louisville. Louisville kind of have the reputation the past couple years of ruining some teams' seasons, kind of going in and having some upsets. Carson Beck, 4 picks. You hear Miami get thrown around in like the national conversation for a team that can win the national championship. I personally do not think that they can win it. I think that when you have Carson Beck, when it comes down to it, the rest of your roster is in place and you have the dudes to do it. I just do not think you have the guy at quarterback to do it.
No, you have those 4 picks. I mean, Miami was driving like most of the time, especially the when the fourth quarter and when I think they were under like 4 minutes. That's kind of just they were down 3, and he throws that pick. I'm like, yep, it's over. Like, it's not working out for Carson Beck. Those, I think his Heisman odds like basically just got chopped in half, and it went from like what it was. I think it was like plus like 600 all the way down to like plus 2,000. Like after that game ended.
Wow.
They just looked so bad.
I feel like we were kind of just waiting for that to happen. It was like fool's gold where he's playing really well, but we know deep down Carson Beck is still Carson Beck. Kind of like deep down we knew James Franklin is still James Franklin, and it's going to show up sooner or later, and it did.
It's like the entire staff and just like players in Miami were just like built on matches. Like there was no stability at all on that team. And it was going to happen sooner or later. Either
Right.
Louisville or, some other team in the ACC. That's good. I'm glad they lost. Fuck Miami.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yep. And then Indiana rolls past Michigan State 38-13. I think Michigan State is completely dog shit. I think that Michigan is probably going to win by a couple touchdowns on Saturday. I really don't care that it's even in East Lansing or anything. That program is just an absolute shambles. It's honestly sad to see. Like, you go back 10 years ago, so like Ohio State has always kind of been in the picture with the Big Ten for the past 10, 15 years at the top. And through that time, like you had Michigan State there for the early years of Urban Meyer who were threatening. And then it became Wisconsin. And then it became Michigan. And like Michigan's still up there in the mix. And you add those Pac-12 schools that are in there now, like Oregon, USC, and those types of schools. But like Ohio State and Penn State have kind of been the two that have consistently been at the top for the past 10 years or so. And to see what Michigan State was 10 years ago under D'Antonio, like they were rolling pretty well. Made a college football playoff. Only have made one since it's become a thing. But it's just sad that they can't get it turned around. You thought it was going to happen with Mel Tucker. Brought in some good transfers. Had Kenneth Walker, your boy over out there in Seattle, come in. Had a really good season for them out there. And it just, the whole weird shit with him happened. And like they just cannot find a way to get back on their feet.
No, and I think this game is kind of like the make it or break it for Jonathan Smith. Like if Michigan State loses this game by like a handful, let's say like 2 or 3 touchdowns, like he's gone. Like I don't think he's gonna be back on the practice field on Monday. Like he's out. He's gonna be out of East Lansing.
There's so many coaches out there right now that are on the hot seat if they haven't been fired.
Oh God, Brian! I hope Brian Kelly gets fired. Fuck that guy. I don't know how Luke Fickell still has a job. Like
because he just got extended. They were stupid. They were stupid and extended him last year. They should have never have done that.
Like what happened to Wisconsin? Like I don't understand what happened to that team.
I feel like they're kind of just trying to. They're trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. Like when you think of Wisconsin, you always just think of like big offensive linemen, really good run game, and they are not that
defensive linemen too.
Yeah, and they've like since Fickell's been there, I feel like they're kind of trying to do more of like the spread type shit, and it's like that's just not who Wisconsin is. It's a Michigan brand of football. It's a Michigan brand of football. Really good defense, really good run game, and a quarterback that makes the timely throws. Like Michigan has perfected that over the past 5 years, and that's what Wisconsin got away from, and that's part of the reason why they're in the way they're in now. Now I know I posted about this. Like I think Luke Fickell has had some bad luck, I guess you could say, when it comes to quarterbacks there. He's constantly had an issue at quarterback, I think he's on like his third string quarterback right now. I think the second string got hurt in the Ohio State game. He's not really ever had a guy at that position since he's been there. And I've always thought if he can just get a guy at that position that can play a little bit, I think it would ultimately help everything else around him. Like a good quarterback helps and hides everything else. And he hasn't had that. They've gotten away from the brand that is Wisconsin football. And that's how you find yourself at 2-5 or 2-6, whatever it is that they are. And I don't know if they're going to get another win the rest of the year.
Do you think this is why like the donors and kind of like the athletic director and the regents like just don't can his ass because they know that like his luck with quarterbacks and obviously like they have a really good run D. I think they have like one of the top run defenses in the country.
Yeah, I think it's like
I know that's
10,
what it was.
top 15, something like that.
Yeah. But I mean, do you think that's kind of the reason why they haven't just like kicked him to the curb? Because like they just the luck that he has.
I think that they saw what he did at Cincinnati. Like,
yeah,
for him to be there, go into South Bend, beat Notre Dame, get into a playoff, and be pretty competitive against a very good Alabama team the year that they did that. And I think that they like him as a leader. They like everything that he stands for. They like his track record. And the part where they fucked up was extending him last year. I remember at the time that he did it they extended him in the offseason. It was like, well, the dude just went like 6-7 or 6-6. Like, why are you extending this guy who hasn't really done anything for you yet since he's been here, and now you're giving him longer time to stay and more money? That doesn't really make sense at all. I think they just want to give him time to try to figure it out, but I understand giving somebody time, but when it's this bad, I don't know where you go from there.
Right. Like, what else do you do? Like, does Wisconsin just can fucking Luke Fickell and just end up in the same position that Penn State's gonna end up in, like that is currently in right now? I mean, I don't think it would really hurt them that much. They might be in a better situation.
And it's like, who are they going to get? Like, I've read that Wisconsin has some of the worst NIL in all of Power 4 football. So they clearly don't have the donors or the money or the resources to fork up to bring in talent. Like, I would rather, if I was a coach and I had a decision between Penn State or Wisconsin, I'm taking Penn State every day. There's a lot more resources that you can work with at Penn State than you can at Wisconsin.
They can get James Franklin.
They could get James Franklin. They could.
He would get canned after 2 years. Or they would just be content with James Franklin.
I don't know what Wisconsin's going to do. I think that they just extended him. I think they're going to probably give him one more year just to say you got to get this figured out. But if it starts out on the wrong foot next year, dude, that fan base is going to be so loud. Those Wisconsin folk, they take pride in their football.
Oh, yeah. They love that shit. Those Madison folks.
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful city, by the way.
So you got anything else in college football? I think Bama's for real. I think Indiana's for real. Yeah. I think Oregon's for real. And I think Notre Dame's for real.
How the fuck did Alabama lose to Florida State? Like this, maybe like the first week jitters of just adjusting to the new season, a new quarterback. Like I don't understand how they lost that game now. Like Ty Simpson's really good.
I always think that once you get to like this part of the season, as you get later in the season, you always take some of those things earlier in like week 1 and week 2 a little bit for a grain of salt because you're trying to figure shit out. There's a lot of weird shit that can happen in the first couple weeks of college football. You got kids that are trying to adapt. And I don't know. I honestly think Castellanos was a lot better than what they planned for going in. And honestly, it was just like shocked them, I think. But they've rallied and they look like they can be for real.
Yeah, they're definitely going to be contenders. I can see them making it, like probably having winning the SEC, which I I did predict that. Did call that
You
out
did.
for anyone that took
You were
notes on
feeling
that.
pretty bad about it after that Florida State game, but it's like
I was like,
mean,
oh,
here we
shit.
are, like 6-7 weeks later, and like they're definitely the favorite. I don't know who else is. Georgia, I don't think is very good. I think their offense is okay. I think their offense is fine. I think their defense is horrible. Like they've constantly just given up a shit ton of points. They've gotten very lucky a couple times too. Tennessee is, I mean, they just beat Tennessee. Like they just kicked the shit out of Tennessee. So I don't know. I know that Tennessee game was a little weird. That Tennessee was on the goal line going in to score, and then I don't know if you saw this, but Tennessee's quarterback threw a pick six for like a 99-yard return pick. That's a 14-point swing. So that that could have been 30. That was like a difference of 30 to 27 right there. And if you execute that and score there, like who knows how that game ends up. But as soon as that happened, you knew it was over.
You know, there is only one undefeated team left in the SEC. Do you know who that is?
Texas A&M.
Yep.
And who do they have this weekend? They have somebody that's decent.
They were going toe to toe with who did they play last weekend? Fuck.
I'm pulling it up right here. Arkansas. They only won by 3.
Yeah.
Oh, they play LSU. Yeah. Last night when we did the Ohio show, we were talking about this. Like, Brian Kelly's probably coaching for his job Saturday night.
Oh, yeah. They lose, he's gone.
Because that's at home. They're ranked 20th. Like, it's kind of like two sides of the sword here. If you win, you're sitting pretty good because you just beat the number 3 team and you got some momentum. If you lose, LSU fans are sick of this shit. They're sick of all the bullshit that you brought in, and they're bringing out the pitchforks at that point.
Why is he making comments about like saying the fans are spoiled? Like spoiled from winning? Dude, what the fuck are you doing?
You don't say that. That's a great way to lose the fan base. Exactly. That's a Dabo type shit. But at least Dabo's won some national championships where he can kind of stand on his shit a little bit. Like Dabo,
Brian Kelly has done nothing.
Absolutely nothing. He left Notre Dame because he claimed he couldn't win there. Marcus Freeman just brought them to a national championship and damn near won it. Like, you are the problem. You constantly, he's an absolute dickhead. You listen to the guy talk. You listen to how he talks to the media. You hear different things of guys that have worked with him. He's just not a great guy that people want to play or coach for.
Yeah. Like, why would the guy just making excuses and just not showing any effort or any progress at all? Like, I don't understand like how they are keeping him there. Like, I agree with you. Like, if they lose to A&M this weekend, like, he's out.
He's coaching for his job. He is absolutely coaching for his job on Saturday. If he wins, he docks off the number 3 team, and hey, he might have something here, but I'm going to guess that even if he wins, he's going to drop a third. It's Brian Kelly. He's going to do it. Their offense is dog shit. But if he loses,
Diego Pavia.
If he loses, we might have another Sunday where we have another big time head college football coach getting fired. First it was James Franklin, then it was Billy Napier. Brian Kelly might be next on Sunday if they lose.
I see Mike Norvell getting canned too. Like, he needs to go as well. He's done like the 2023 season where they went undefeated the whole year, and then just after that, just completely collapsed.
Yeah, makes no sense. He brought in a lot of really good transfers last year. I know a lot of guys were pretty high on Florida State, and they won like 2 games. Came out, beat Bama week 1 this year. You thought Florida State was back. Mike Norvell has everything figured out. I don't know. Like, I've heard him in different interviews and things. He says the right things, but I just hear him talk, and I'm just like, you just seem like a fraud. Everything you're saying sounds good.
Car salesman.
Yeah, like, exactly. Like, he's saying the right things, but I ain't buying it. And I guess it's kind of showing on the football field, too. Like, I don't know. I'm not sitting here saying that Florida State players aren't bought in or that type of thing, but it's not surprising me after hearing him that he is struggling.
They looked so good against Alabama. Like
I don't
they
get
looked
it.
like a complete team. And
It
then
makes
playing
zero
Virginia
sense,
just
dude.
doesn't make any sense. I don't understand. It's like these. It's like they're self sabotaging for some odd trivial reason.
Dude,
Like
like
it's
I
nuts.
like watching them against Bama, I was like, fuck. Like that's gonna be a bitch to play against.
Yeah.
Like you got Castellanos that can throw it, he can run, he can act like he's
Yeah.
throwing it and then run it. He can act like he's running it and then throw it. Like the dude can do it all. I'm sorry. He was talking some shit about Bama this offseason. You and I, once again, we're making fun of him for it. But he stood on business week 1, and then he's done nothing but shit the bed ever since. It just makes zero sense. I do not get it.
It's the same thing with Sellers is the same fucking way, dude.
Yeah.
Well, maybe like he was always there. Everyone talked about like the second half of the season. Like I know we talked about it too, like how he had a stellar second half. But like, dude, he's just completely in the fucking shadows now. Like he's irrelevant. Like South Carolina's fucking irrelevant.
Yep. Absolutely.
Like, holy shit! What a fantastic year of college football. Just
It
like all
is.
the predictions that went in, and like 98% of them were just fucking wrong.
Dude.
Like wow.
College football's the best. I always say, like, college football, there's so much drama and just parody and that type of stuff as you go through the year. But like NFL it's awesome. Don't get me wrong. Like I'm every Sunday I'm gonna sit down and watch some NFL football. But like NFL doesn't really start getting fun until December time. Whenever you get down to the playoffs, teams are battling for spots. Like it's almost like the first couple months it's a little not boring. It's still entertaining to watch. But there's just so much drama, so many headlines that go into college football every single week. And NIL, transfer portal, coaches being fired. It just adds to it. And it is literally fucking awesome. I love it.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's one of the best like sports in the world.
All right, let's transition over to Michigan. Big game this weekend. Big win on Saturday. Michigan had Washington coming in. Washington's been one of these teams that's interesting. You heard a lot about them going into the Ohio State game. You heard a lot about them going into the Michigan game, and both defenses really shut down Damon Williams Jr. It's weird. Like I think Damon Williams, when they're playing teams that are equally as talented as what Washington is, like he's a stud. The dude can throw the ball. He can run all over the place. Like the week before against Rutgers, I think he had 500 yards of all-purpose offense between like 400 passing, over 100 rushing. Killed Rutgers. Goes into Michigan, goes into the Ohio State game. Completely demolished. Like suffocates him. I'll turn it over to you. Let me know your thoughts from Saturday.
So kind of like pros first. So Bryce looked really good. 21 for 27, 230 yards, 2 tutties. One to Marshall, and then the other one to the better Andrew Marsh, not Nick.
He's a dog. He's a dog, by the way.
Yeah, dude. I know I made that post saying Jeremiah who, but I was just like, obviously I had a couple drinks making that post, but you know, I'm like, dude, this kid's gonna be a stud. Like only a freshman, and I think he's probably better than McCauley, definitely better than that dog shit wide receiver Samaj Morton Jr. and basically just the rest of the like wide receiver core. And like Michigan, if he improves, you know, we get to see like 3 years of this. So I'm always excited to see him on the field, and really he should just be the number 2 guy, and then Donovan McCauley should be number 1, and then Samaj Morton should just get kicked off to fucking Flint, Michigan, or wherever hell part of fucking Michigan, and just stay there.
See if he can go fix the water in Flint.
Yeah, go fix the water. Just go work in public works, guy. Dude, you remember that video that he made after beating Ohio State in 2023? I was like, what the fuck did you do?
Yeah. That was funny. I think that's why he gets clowned so much by Ohio State fans.
And every time he's like out there returning punts, I'm like, dude, I literally almost faint every single time.
I'm waiting for you just botch this. That just seems so on brand for you.
When he did that shit in the Rose Bowl, I was like, get this fucking guy out of here. Like, get him out now. Like, you are, man. Anyways, so then Jordan Marshall stepping up for injured Justice Haynes. Hopefully he's going to be back this weekend for the Michigan State game. 25 carries, 133 yards, 5.3 yards for the average, and 1 tutty. If with the healthy with the healthy Haynes and Marshall, I think Michigan has the best running back room in the country. Like but both of them are elusive, and obviously Marshall just does not go down. He's aggressive. He gets the yardage that you need, especially if the O line is blocking, which they block pretty well on Saturday. Besides a couple just dumb 4th-and-1 play calls that we decided to go through. Again, about Andrew Marsh, 5 receptions, 49 yards, 1 tutty. Michigan's defensive line held
with the sick ass one-handed catch.
Yeah, the one-hander. I was like, oh. It's like, yeah. Jeremiah who? And then Michigan's defensive line came in, held Damon Williams to negative 19 yards rushing, and Jonah Coleman also had 50 yards rushing, and total rushing was like 40 yards. So defense looked a lot better than what we saw in USC. I still see like my problem with like Wink Martindale is that he needs to keep the best D-line in the game and stop subbing like this is the NFL, right? I remember in 2021, Mike McDonald did that stuff too, where we subbed a lot, and we're taking out our stars and putting in players that obviously are lesser to them, in context of like athleticism and skill, and that's when like we get these big plays like ran on us. I think Wink just needs to really adjust to that. Like, this is college football. Like, you need to keep these guys fucking out here. It's not the NFL. Not every player on this roster is NFL caliber players. There was a couple of plays where I saw like Barnum, like he is a great player. I think he's kind of adjusting to the edge a little bit because there was a lot of times where Barnum was just getting sucked into the gaps, and that's when like Coleman would make those like kind of a little bit of big breaks, like maybe like for 10 yards or not like 8 or 10 yards or 12 yards when it was like maybe like 3rd and 6 or something like that. So, a little bit of problems of there. Samaj Morgan had that big drop in 4th-and-1 that everyone just like, I was at the game too. And like, I'm just like talking to people in the crowd and stuff, like people next to me. And they're just like, God, Samaj Morgan sucks. I'm like, yeah, he needs to get the fuck off this team. Right now, I think we have a total of 16 drops from our wide receivers. Morgan had a drop, and then Marshall had a drop too. And like just clearly open passes. And I saw a bunch of like discourse on X, like people talking about, is it Bryce Underwood's, velocity that he's throwing at? Like, is he throwing it too fast? And I'm just going to say this right now. If motherfuckers that are 15 through 17 years old in high school at Bellevue High School can catch anything that Bryce Underwood can throw at him, why can't we have wide receivers that are coached by Ron Bellamy catch, Bryce Underwood's fastballs? Like, it's just no fucking excuse. Like, I don't see the excuse. You wouldn't see fucking... I mean, besides like the first couple of games, like you wouldn't see Carnell Tate or like Jeremiah Smith drop this shit. Like that just wouldn't happen. But like in situations where like the Michigan wide receivers need to catch the ball, like this stuff is going to be important, especially in extremis. Like if we're down, and it's just unacceptable. And then like the first half of the game, it was tied 7-7. And I'm just like, dude, the fucking stubbornness of this coaching staff. Like, I'm glad they adjusted with the offense and defense. Like, I mean, defense played fantastic throughout the whole game. But just like, again, just the offensiveness, like the stubbornness that we have to where we just tend to like run the same play over and over again, and we're expecting different results, right? Like, the definition of insanity is to do the same thing over and over again and expect different results. And like maybe against like lesser teams, like Washington is good. I'll say they are a good team. Like they deserve to be ranked. Like I would say probably over Tennessee and LSU. Like I don't understand how LSU is fucking ranked. Mm-hmm. But they should be a ranked team. And I'm there with, Ohio State fans too, like especially when that argument when you guys played them or beat them too. But we just tend to run the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. And I don't understand like what Moore and Chip Lindsey are really thinking with the offense that we have going forward. I mean, they played well. Don't get me wrong. Like we played well. The play action passes worked. Marsh and McCauley were able to get open, make some big plays. I really would just want to see like Marsh and McCauley just involved fully with this wide receiver core. And I don't think it helps too that like Klein and Hogan Hansen, like they hurt, and the only person that we really have right now in the tight end room is like Marshall. So like obviously there's some inexperience because like he's had a couple drops already this season. So I mean, like the small things like death by 1,000 cuts, like Michigan just really needs to pick up on. But it's just really hard to see like going forward. Like, are we a playoff contender team? If that makes sense. Like, I feel like our defense is if Wink Martindale, stops with the subbing, and our corners are on spot, like they are making the plays that they need to make. But again, it's just like the offensive play calling. It's like, dude, we have to do something. We have to like start switching things up, But yeah,
so I find when you talk about the defensive subbing kind of interesting, because when I look at it from Ohio State's perspective, that was always an issue with Ohio State. I think not now, not so much last year, but I would say like 2022, 2023, where Ohio State fans were begging for more subbing to keep like your good guys fresh. But I think you got to be like strategic in the way that you do it. You don't want to go like, obviously when it's a crucial third down, you got to have your best guys out there.
Right.
You have to be careful about when you're subbing guys in and out. I mean, let's be honest, like the biggest guys on the field are defensive linemen, especially defensive tackles. Like those big boys are going to need some breaks here and there. I don't know if it's
right.
like a depth thing where like maybe there's just that much of a drop off. And I haven't watched Michigan enough. Like obviously you follow them, you know every single player on the team. I only know a handful of guys, so I don't know what it looks like from like starter to second teamers. But when you look at like defensive line, like Michigan replaced guys like Mason Graham, Kenneth Grant from last year. So not only are you replacing like those two starters, but then the guys behind them are either probably freshmen, brand new guys that are coming in, or they were like third string guys last year. So it may be just like a little bit of there's just that much of a talent gap from your starters to your backups where teams see when you're subbing and then they try to exploit those areas whenever you do sub. I think it's if you go and ask a defensive line and a street fight against Ohio State, for example, to go out there and play all 70 to 75 snaps, they're going to get tired in the end. You're going to have to sub them out at some point or another. But yeah, I don't know the situation fully. What I'm really saying, but I think that you almost have to find like that middle ground, right? You have to find that middle ground between subbing guys in, subbing guys out, and maybe it's not like we're taking all the starters off. Like if we want to give guys breaks and we run in a 4-3, if you got 4 defensive linemen, we're going to send in 2 backups to keep 2 starters out there. We're going to send one backup in, leave 3 starters out there. Like you probably don't ever want to get into a situation where you have more second team guys, I guess you could say, or more rotational piece guys than what you have starters on the field at once, because then that's probably when you're going to have your issues.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that, and I agree with the crucial like third down plays, especially when games on the line or it's a big stop, it's like third and long, and then you're subbing out, and then all of a sudden like USC did this like last week or 2 weeks ago where we were subbing, and then all of a sudden it's like third and forever, and then they have a big ass run and they break. It's like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, why are we subbing right now?
And there's
keep
a
the
lot
best
of
players
things,
on the field.
And there's a lot of things that can always go into that too, where maybe it's just the discipline of the defensive line. Maybe the guy wasn't disciplined, didn't stay in his gap. And that's where the hole opened up, and that's where which allowed him to have the explosive run. Maybe there's not a talent issue. It's just like, God damn it, like stop going out of your gap. Play your role. Do your job, and we will be fine. I don't know the full situation, obviously, but there's a lot more that goes into it, I think, than it's like rotate or don't rotate. Like, it's kind of like, how are we rotating? When are we rotating? And the guys that are rotating in, are they doing their job? Like, you're on the field because we trust that you can play at a high level. If you can't play at a high level, like this is Michigan, we're not going to throw you out there. We're in the process of trying to get in the college football playoff. We're not going to just throw you out there because you're our only option. So you're out there for a reason, and this is a good defense that you're playing for. So I don't know. I don't know what the full situation is there, but the good part is you have a defensive coordinator like Wink who has been around the block. Like, this isn't the first time he's ever had to figure out rotations or figure out why he's got backups, and that's where the explosive plays and the issues are coming in. Like, it's not like a first-time coordinator where he's kind of just figuring it out on the fly. Like, Wink has been here before. He's had these issues before, and he's fixed them before, which is, I think, positive, at least from your sense as a Michigan fan moving forward.
Yeah, there is positivity. I mean, there is positivity going there. The one thing I did forget to talk about, man, Bryce can really get the ball in those fucking tight windows. Like, I don't know if you saw a couple of highlights where he had the 27-yard throw to Zach Marshall. That gap was like maybe like a foot of just like getting it in there. I'm like, dude, this kid is so special, especially on Michigan's offense. Like, he is critical, and just getting him out there and running these play action passes, doing what he does best is throwing on the run. Like, he can fucking throw on the run. Same thing, like, obviously Saying is, wow. Like, Saying is just extremely accurate. Like, probably one of the most accurate quarterbacks I've watched so far in a while. But like Bryce, I think next year, as Bryce continues to develop, and hopefully he does, he's probably gonna be one of the top quarterbacks in the Big Ten.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Bryce Underwood's, as long as he stays on this trajectory, he's on a good trajectory. He's going to be a first-round draft pick in the NFL, probably a top 10, top 15 pick. When you compare him and Julian Sayin, they're just two different players that just happen to play the same position. Like, I think Underwood has all the arm talent in the world. He can make any throw on the field that he needs to make. I think for him, it's always just come down to the fundamentals and the consistency, where it's like, don't throw off your back foot, line your shoulder up to your target, do these little simple things, and your talent alone is gonna get you there. You can see the kid is he's good this year. I mean, Michigan's 10 times better than what they were last year because they simply have a guy that can throw a forward pass this year. And Bryce Underwood, you just see him continuously developing, getting better each week. I think the biggest thing is, maybe he's not always lighting up the stat sheet, which is fine. Michigan's never been that way with a quarterback. A quarterback for Michigan has never consistently gone out and thrown for 300, 400 yards. You didn't even see J.J. McCarthy do that. He had games where he did it, where he had to step up and do that, but that's just not what Michigan's quarterback is built to do. And Bryce Underwood, I think whenever it comes down to it, he can do it. I think that as you look into a sophomore and even his junior year, he's just going to keep getting better, and he's really fucking good. He's a physical specimen that can make any throw on the field, and if there's one thing you want to nitpick, he just needs to get better at his fundamentals, and I think that he will. I think that Michigan will coach him up and tell him, hey, stop with the don't, you're not squaring your shoulders up, you're doing this sidearm shit. Yeah, I know that might work, but there's going to be occasions where it doesn't work, and you're going to sail through, and that's going to lead to an interception. It's just little things like that, but that's not a Bryce Underwood problem. That's a freshman problem. That's just a freshman that has been extremely better and so much more talented than his competition up until this point that he's gotten away with that type of stuff. And he's not always going to get away with it whenever he's playing these types of high-level players, and it'll come back and bite him, I'm sure, at some point or another, but those are teaching moments. Those are learning moments that he'll get better from. I think when you look at Julian Sayin's side of things, Julian Sayin couldn't hold Bryce Underwood's jockstrap if they were going to go into the weight room or go sprint. He's not as fast as him. He's not as strong as him. He's not as big as him. But like Julian Sand is that extremely elite, accurate passer. He's a really, really smart processor. Processes very, very quickly. And then he's the type of guy that he has amazing fundamentals on every single throw. But Julian Sand has to be like that. If Julian Sand goes out there trying to do this sidearm, shoulders over here, his arm isn't strong enough to get it in the right spot. It's not strong enough to drive some of the throws. He's not going to be able to go out there and run around like Bryce does because he's not that type of athlete. They're both special in different ways. They just happen to play the same position. They just play it differently, and there's just different ways that they go about being successful at playing the quarterback position.
Yeah, Sane is also extremely poised, like in the pocket. Like I'm, like just watching him. Like I watched the Wisconsin. I watched pretty much every single Ohio State game, right? So, and I'm just like watching him in the pocket. I'm like, God, he's so calm.
Yeah,
And like collective, and like he just makes his reads. You know, gets the ball out there in tight windows, and it obviously like it helps having, you know, like the top 10 and first round NFL draft picks like Tate and Smith, but like he just getting these throws in these very tight windows, especially over the weekend against Wisconsin. That throw in the end zone to Tate, I was like, holy fuck!
yeah,
And using double coverage too.
yeah.
Like I mean, gonna be a problem, you know, for Michigan and everybody else. But yeah. So let's
on the last note, like before we move on to Ohio State, I want to talk about Andrew Marsh. That kid is different. When I see him, he reminds me. I'm trying to think of like a good comp for him. Like he kind of reminds me of I don't know if Curtis
like Olave?
Samuel. I think he's like. I think Olave was more of like a deep threat. I see Marsh is in like hit you short. Like I'm so like I'm so twitchy. Like I can turn a 5-yard. Yeah, kinda. Yeah, like I can turn a 5-yard gain into 20 because I'm so quick with my feet. I'm a technic. Like yes, I think JSN is a pretty good comparison. Like a very, very, very good route runner. Really quick in space. Now, if he ran a 40-yard dash, I'm sure he's fast. Like he probably would, I don't even know, 4.48, 4.45, I don't know. But I think like where he is elite is in short spaces, where he's really twitchy in a really short amount of space. You throw him in the slot, you get a safety on him, you get a linebacker on him, it's game over. They're not fucking guarding him. So I really like Andrew Marsh. I think he is going to be a dude, and he honestly might be the saving grace to get other wide receiver talent into Michigan as they go from here. They see what he's starting to do with Bryce Underwood. That's going to attract other high school recruits. It's going to attract other guys out of the portal, and I think he's a dude. Like he is the best. I think he's the best receiver I've seen at Michigan in a while. Roman Wilson was good, but I think by the time Marsh is a finished product, I think you could see him potentially being a first rounder one day.
I mean, he's also like big and he's quick, you know. And not necessarily tall, but like he can like just fit through and like especially in the small slots.
Yeah, that's
like
he doesn't have to be
needs.
big. He's the type of guy that you can put on the outside. You can move him into the slot. Like you can line him up in the backfield. You can motion him out. Like I was gonna say Curtis Samuel because he's kind of just like a get him the ball type of guy. Like send him on a jet sweep. Toss it to him. Get him, motion him into the backfield, hand it off to him. Get him into the slot, get him the ball. Like it's just like a get him the fucking ball type of guy.
Yeah, he's definitely going to be, you know, something very special for Michigan, and just going forward, just being a freshman and him and Bryce just like growing together, man, it's gonna be fun. Especially by the end, like watch them grow by the end of the year. And then next year we have these 4-star wide receivers coming in. Like this whole core is just going to expand. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I think that's all it takes. It takes a guy like Bryce Underwood to come in and kind of change the trajectory or the outlook of what Michigan wide receivers has been. I mean, you look past 5-10 years, Michigan hasn't ever been known for wide receivers. And all it takes is one guy like Bryce Underwood to come in and completely change that. And now you're bringing in the wide receiver talent. Now you elevate.
Yeah, let's get it. So then we got the Wisconsin-Ohio State game.
Yep.
Wisconsin.
Pretty boring game. Ohio State, I think they did basically everything they wanted to do. I think the score was like 34, 38 nothing, whatever it was. Probably could have been 60 to nothing if they really wanted to. I think out of respect for Luke Fickell and not wanting to run him out of town that night, I think they kind of tried to make the score not look completely lopsided. But I think the biggest thing a lot of Ohio State fans have been kind of wanting to see up to this point is let's see Julian Sand get into this passing offense. Let's open it up a little bit. We know that he can throw the ball. He's extremely accurate. We have all these playmakers on the edge. Let's just open it up and see what happens. So you go into this game, Wisconsin's got like a top 10, top 15 rush defense. Ohio State does have issues in the rush game. I will admit that. They need to get better in that area. But I think the game plan going in was we're just going to throw the ball around, and they suck in the secondary, and we're really good in that spot. So let's just keep it simple here. I think it was really good to see Julian open it up again, spread things out, throw the ball around. Again, another game where he's right around 75, 80% completion percentage, extremely accurate, just a guy that you know is going to find a way to get the playmakers the ball, and that's exactly what you need in Ohio State's offense. Before the year, I talked a little bit about I think there's a world where Ohio State's offense can look better with Julian Sand than what it did Will Howard last year, and I think that's exactly what we're seeing here. I think Will Howard, we've talked about it time and time again. He was perfect from a leadership standpoint. He was the type of guy that you needed to get things back on the tracks to ultimately reach your final goal. But when you come down to just playing the quarterback position and the way that you do it, like Julian Sand is definitely much better at that than what Will was. Outside of that, I think it was another good, solid win. Ohio State has looked pretty good up until this point. I think through their first 7 games, I've been very satisfied for each and every one of them. Obviously, you're always going to find things here and there that you want to get better at and you want to improve upon, and they have their things. They do. They're not completely perfect like everybody likes to act like they are. But yeah, I what did you see? I guess, did you have any opinions on the game or anything? I guess we can just kind of get into conversation just about Ohio State, about the game, or kind of what we want from there. But what I would like to do is, like, at the end, kind of have like a conversation of what does it look like if Ohio State and Michigan played today?
Do you want to hear a nuclear take?
Yeah, shoot it.
I think Carnell Tate is better than Jeremiah Smith.
You're high.
I think he's no, I'm not high. I just think he's more elusiveness. Like I think Carnell's faster, and I think Carnell will get you the bigger plays than Jeremiah will. Like, that doesn't take away.
Do you know what
That's
Emeka Egbuka said last week?
What'd he say?
He said Jeremiah Smith was the fastest player he's ever played with.
I know, but I think
Jeremiah
in
Smith is getting double and triple teamed. They're not allowing him to get killed over the top. Carnell Tate is benefiting the most off of this.
Yeah, of course he is. I mean, he's still making.
You're telling me if you had to
plays.
if you're an NFL team and you're going to draft right now, you're going to take Carnell Tate over Jeremiah Smith?
I mean, I would take Emeka Egbuka over Marvin Harrison Jr. and JSN.
Well, Jeremiah's better than Marv.
Yeah. I mean, if we, I don't get me wrong. I think Jeremiah Smith is like one of the greatest wide receivers to come out, like, to play for Ohio State. Like, yes, that's clearly evident, but I think a lot of people overlooked like Emeka Egbuka as well, like, and compared to Marvin Harrison Jr. and that last year's like squad. Like, he is fucking killing it. And the same thing with everyone knew JSN was just a dog, especially in that Rose Bowl game against Utah. I just think right now, like, if I'm doing like an eye test, I would 100% say Carnell Tate. But this is like saying that, like, you have basically like a Rolls Royce and a Bugatti. You know what I mean? Like, two freaking fancy, elegant like cars and sports cars. Like, one's better than the other, but they're still like awesome, amazing luxury sports cars. You know what I mean?
I get that.
I
think Carnell Tate is the second best player or second best wide receiver in college football. But
yeah,
I don't even think it's Jeremiah is completely better in every aspect. Carnell just doesn't have two guys draped over him every single play. There's a reason you haven't seen many deep shots to Jeremiah, because typically he has 2-3 guys literally. Yeah, and when one side's double teaming, Urban Meyer literally talked about this before the year. He said the best friend to a really good wide receiver one, like Jeremiah, is wide receiver number 2, because wide receiver number 2 is going to get more looks. If you sat here and said Carnell Tate's going to end up having the more productive season in terms of numbers, absolutely. I agree with that. I think he probably will. I think as the season goes on, like, you're probably going to see Carnell Tate end up with more. Jeremiah still has more yards than what Carnell does today. And I think as the year goes on, you'll probably see Carnell end up with more production in terms of yards at the end of the year. When you just consider size, speed, route running, hand, like all of those things, like Jeremiah is better at all the, like, I've watched him for like fucking 24, 25 games now. Jeremiah was the number one option on last year's team to a team that Carnell Tate was a number 3 option on. Jeremiah Smith was a number 1 option to Emeka Egbuka, who is killing the NFL right now.
Absolutely murdering it. So is JSN. Go Hawks. Do you remember watching the Washington game, and then where I think it was like 3rd and 8 and Ohio State's in the red zone of Washington? And
I did not watch.
Day,
I did not watch the Washington game. I was unfortunately at a wedding.
Oh yeah, I remember you saying that.
Yeah.
But Hartline and Day basically ran, the number 1 wide receiver special at Ohio State, and that's, the drag route. Well, they basically everyone out to the right.
I saw, and Jeremiah. Yeah. I did see that play. Yeah.
I was like, wow, that reminded me of so much of like Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah,
because he would do the same shit and he would just kill teams.
I don't even think it's close. I don't even think it's close. Like, Jeremiah is so much better than what Marv was. Marv was good, but Marv was force fed. Like, in 2023, that dude was force fed the ball. And when you just look at, like, from a prospect standpoint, I think Jeremiah is far better than Marv. There was, like, Zach Smith was very vocal even before the years. He even said, like, going into the draft, I'm taking Malik Neighbors over Marv. And that has proven true. I know Malik Neighbors has now torn his ACL, but, like, I think Marv had the name. Like, it's kind of like the Arch Manning type thing. He was better than what fucking Arch Manning is. Like, let's not act like he was Arch 100%. Manning out there. He was much better than what Arch Manning was. But he had, like, that kind of aura about him. Like, he had the name. So he was going to get, like, just the attention, the spotlight, like that type of that extra stuff that comes along with just having that
NFL
name.
royalty. Yeah.
Right. But I get where you can say like Carnell is just the product of playing alongside an absolute fucking beast and a Megatron type player. Like Julian Sand is an extremely smart quarterback where, like, do you remember that fucking Oregon game last year whenever Will Howard was throwing the ball to Jeremiah in triple coverage just because it was like, oh, number 4's out there and he's jumping over guys and fucking catching it? You will never see Julian Sand do that because he's too fucking smart. Will Howard's just dumb and like, oh, there's number 4. I'm gonna fucking throw it up there, and he just makes it play. Like, Julian Sand is too smart to do something to put the ball in harm's way like that. He's gonna make the right decision 9 times out of 10. Will Howard's making the right decision 6.5 times out of 10. He's just like, all right, well, Jeremiah's gonna be down there. I'm just gonna throw it to him.
So offensively for Ohio State, do you guys think this is a better team last year than this year?
I think this year's better. I just don't think they've opened it up completely yet. I think that they are. You hear Joel Klatt talk about it. They have not gone into 3rd or 4th gear at all yet, and I think to this point they've kind of lived in like 2nd gear. I think last week you saw them open it up a little bit. I don't think you're going to see a lot of the creativity come out until, like, I honestly think it's going to come out in the Michigan game because Ryan Day wants to win that one so bad, and he learned his lesson from last year. But I think across the board, this offense is better. I think the running back room isn't as good. Obviously, you had 2 guys that were damn near first rounders that left, but I think Julian Sand is just elevates the offense so much. They just need to open it up, and they'll continue to open it up the more as the year goes on. I think they've just tried to kind of keep some training wheels on them up until this point, but I think at a final product, I think this offense will be better in the end.
Yeah, I think the just meshing as a group, I think they're much better than what they were last year. Besides the running game, the only thing that like kind of keeps you guys down though is the running game, and just like the uncertainty of who is the RB1 and RB2. Like, because I know I saw Isaiah West. Is that who it is? Like he came out there like playing extremely well, and then Bo Jackson Jr. But I mean Donovan Peoples or
James
James Peoples and who's the other guy?
Donaldson.
Donovan. Yeah, Donaldson. Yeah, like they have not stepped up at all.
No.
Besides like maybe Donaldson for like short yardage gains, but
yeah.
Yeah.
Going into the year, I thought James Peoples was going to be the guy. I thought he was going to be the featured back by the end of the year, and he has been like literally completely opposite of that. Bo Jackson's been really good. I think Isaiah West, they finally gave him some carries this past weekend. He looked really good. He had some good explosive runs, kind of more of like a physical type back, I think. But I think there's a world where we're going to see RB1, RB2 are going to be two true freshmen by the end of the year. I think that they are starting to pass by C.J. Donaldson. I heard on Menace of Sports earlier this week, C.J. Donaldson has only created like 2 missed tackles all year. It's not very good as a running back. And like Bo Jackson,
not good at all.
Bo Jackson has like over 15 or something crazy like that. And then I think like Isaiah West, I want to say it is, obviously has a fraction of the carries that C.J. Donaldson has, and he has like 3. He has more than him in like a quarter of the carries or something like that. I think Donaldson's like a good, like you said, just goal line, put him on the goal line, let him just fucking run somebody over to get in. But your consistent guys going forward, I think, have to be Bo Jackson and Isaiah West. And luckily you have a bye week to evaluate some things. The right guard spot has been a pretty big issue for Ohio State to this point. Tegra Chabula, he played right guard all through the playoff last year. Played pretty well down the stretch, but for whatever reason, he just isn't right this year. And they've been trying out another guy there. I think that's an area of focus, Ryan Day said, is to get that run game going, get it just more consistent more than anything. And then I think a lot of that's going to come down to that right guard spot. Anytime you see them try to run to the right side or anytime you see a run play getting blown up, it's typically because that Tegra's fucking up at the right guard spot. So we'll see what they do and what changes they make going into the bye week, but I think that they need to kind of get the run game figured out, get the right guard spot figured out, and then like really finalize who your guys are that you're going to kind of lean on for the last stretch here.
Yeah. So before like we kind of like end the show today, if Michigan and Ohio State played right now, like Saturday,
yep,
who do you think would win?
I'm taking Ohio State. I think Ryan Day's moving different. I actually have an article that I'm going to release later tonight where a lot of people, Ohio State fans, have been a little frustrated with just the conservativeness of the play calling up until this point. And I don't think they really have to get very creative just because they've been a lot better than the opponents that they played to this point. So, like, why show things that you don't need to show? I'm going to talk about in it where I think Ohio State really wanted to open up. You saw a clear difference in the play calling the second that Tennessee game started compared to the regular season at all. I think that Ryan Day really wants to win this Michigan game. I think he's got a completely different attitude about him. You saw that there was a book that just came out this week too as well, just written about the Ohio State season from last year, and a good portion of that book was the day after the Michigan game and the meeting that they had with the players, and sound like it got pretty bloody in there where the players were literally like calling him out for things, like telling him like kind of just like a coming to Jesus moment where he realized he had to change some things. He had to change his mentality about things. And ever since that game, listen to him in press conferences. Just see him on the sideline. See how he interacts with players. He's different. And I think when you talk about that creativity that they brought in the postseason last year, I think that he feels like he has a better team. He has the best team in the country, and he wants to unleash that against Michigan. He wants to go out there and put all his chips on the table. And a lot of what was in that book was kind of like, why the fuck are we playing into Michigan's plan? Why are we running the ball into their two best players when that is not who we are? We have Jeremiah Smith. We have Emeka Egbuka. We have Quinshon. We have Travion. Like, we have guys, get them on the edge, get them in space, do what we're good at. And I think that changed him that day. I think that they come in with a completely different game plan, and I think Ohio State wins, honestly.
I think by eye test, like, if I would to do an eye test, like an eye observation, I would say Ohio State. But like, if I would look at,
I think every single year other than 2023, you probably would have said the same thing though too.
Yeah,
like 21,
so that's like
22, 24, like definitely 24, but 23, like Michigan was better, just top to bottom, much better.
Yeah,
but I think but what I'm saying, eye test hasn't mattered.
No, it hasn't. But like, I'm trying to be like as objective about this as possible without like bringing it. Well, I mean, it is still part of the objectivity because like it's still like, you know, what we saw last year, and I think what the difference is between this year and last year is Jim Knowles and being replaced by Matt Patricia. So it's just like so hard for me to say like that Michigan would win because I've seen Michigan this year in big games completely just shit down their pants. But last year I saw a completely different Michigan game at the end of the season when they played Ohio State and Alabama, to where like Sherrone Moore had control of the game from the start of the first quarter to the end of the fourth. I mean, it's the mentality, you know what I mean? It's the mind games that, you know, Ohio State and Michigan, the game has on these coaches. And I wouldn't say like Ryan Day has the capability to beat Michigan, but, you know, for me to change my mind on that is like, I have to see it happen again.
Absolutely.
Not like in 2019, you know?
Absolutely. I agree. I have to see it too. Like, for me to I am sitting here telling myself that I think they're going to win because I think Ryan Day is moving different. I think there has been a cultural shift within his program that they had a coming to Jesus moment the day after that Michigan game, and they had to figure some shit out. And I think they have. Culture's changed. But I'm not I'm not 100% believing it yet. You got to show me. I have to see it with my own two eyes. And nobody can deny shit changes once that game is different than all the others. Throw every single record, throw whatever you got, I got, that type of shit out the window. It's, we hate you, you hate us, fuck you, fuck them. Like, that's just how it is. Shit changes for this one. And until he actually goes out there and makes it happen, I don't think I can 100% say I'm for sure that they're going to win. I just think that personally, Ryan Day has learned some lessons over the course of the past 12 months that is going to allow him to change and to adapt and ultimately finally break through and get it done.
I think the one thing, like we talked about this earlier, that is going to hurt Ohio State a lot is the running game. Like, if you guys can't, West and Jackson are not the RB1 and RB2, it's going to be a huge issue. Because Wink will throw some disguised coverages out there, just like Matt Patricia will. That will completely fucking put Satan in a loop.
Yeah, for sure. It's two NFL guys that are going out there. You're going to see exotic shit that neither one of these, Bryce or Julian, have never seen before. It's going to be like two NFL masterminds going against each other, just trying to confuse the freshman quarterbacks on the other side. I agree with you 100% on that. I think what it's going to come down to for Ohio State, and I talked about this last night too, I think a lot of it's going to come down to first down play calling, where you can't be so predictable on first down because you aren't built like Michigan. When Michigan wants 5 yards and everybody in the entire big house knows that they're running the ball, Michigan is physically built to go out and get you 5 yards whenever the fuck they want 5 yards. When Ohio State wants 5 yards and they're going to turn around and everybody in the big house knows they're going to run the ball, they aren't built that way. They don't have as like that fixed physical type of brand of football that Michigan has, where Ohio State beats you by getting talent, the ball to the talent, to their playmakers in space and making things happen that way. So I think it's going to be critical for them to be creative on first down. It's not just a turn around and hand the ball off like they did basically a lot of first downs and like just predictable downs last year. I think that was their issue. It was just whatever was predictable or what was probably going to happen in that situation. That's kind of what they did. And I think if you come out, send guys in motion, get some play action, throw the ball a lot on first down, where you're Michigan and it's like a 50-50 flip of the coin of, is it going to be a run? Is it going to be a pass? I think that changes things and makes it easier. It sets you up for more second and manageable downs. Keeps you out of 2nd and 9, 2nd and 10, things like that. Makes it a lot harder for offenses when you're in that spot.
Well, I mean, what we saw last year with like Ohio State, like running a fucking halfback draw at 3rd and 10, like, what are you doing?
That was just an absolutely insane game plan. It was ignorance. I'd still say it is. Like, the fact that he ran the ball like 80 to 85% of the rushes were in between the tackles going into 2 NFL first-round draft picks whenever your offensive line is depleted is absolutely beyond me and the dumbest fucking shit I've ever seen. And
stupid.
Yeah,
it's just incompetence.
Yeah, like I said, I think like he's learned his lesson. Like, that is not who we are. We are not Michigan. Stop trying to play Michigan's brand of football. Like, we have Jeremiah Smith, Carnell Tate. We have these insane receivers. Find a way to get them the ball. And that doesn't always mean just line them up there and send them in routes. Send them in motion. Hand the ball off to them. Play action. Put them in the slot. Move them around. Make it difficult on Michigan. Play on your terms. If Ohio State plays on their terms, I think they will be okay.
Exactly. So I'm really excited to see what the game brings this year. I think it's always just going to be a good time, no matter what. I think we'll see as the season progresses towards like the last quarter of it, like we're going to see like who is going to be the team that wins that game up in Ann Arbor. And Can Ryan Day do it finally? Or not finally, but again, because it's been so long.
It's finally for me.
Well,
it's 2019 is too long ago.
We'll definitely have like a conversation leading up to that about Ohio State, Michigan, the week of, and that's almost what, not even a month away. I think I'm more than a month. Yeah,
5 weeks. 5 weeks away. That's what I mean. We're right here. Like a week from today is the end of October, and once you hit November, like you really start thinking about that game. So we're gonna have more shit coming, more conversations coming. Maybe we'll get creative over here in the next few weeks where we can have some cool shit leading up to the game, and then maybe the week of the game we can have some pretty cool things. So I don't know, Meta. We'll have to get our heads together and come up with some ideas to look at this from a different lens, or I don't know, play some kind of game on how we go about approaching this. But it's coming, and 5 weeks away, we're going to find out if Michigan's going to continue to run the rivalry of recent history, or if Ryan Day's going to figure it out.
Let's make it break it for Michigan if they win out. So
that's what I mean, dude. It's going to be fucking awesome. It's going to be do or die for Ryan Day. He's got to do it at some point. And then Michigan, as long as things continue to go as they plan, it's going to be a shot at the playoff for them. 10-2 gets you in for sure. 9-3, you're on that bubble. You just hope that you did just enough. Alrighty, well, thank you everybody for tuning in. If you could please like, subscribe, follow, retweet, do all the things that help make our show grow, we would greatly appreciate it. Another great episode talking some football, college football, talking about Ohio State, talking about Michigan, 5 weeks away from the game.